Okay, as you might imagine, it is pretty awesome living in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. However, it's not perfect. So today I'm here to share the 10 things that I actually hate about living in New Smyrna Beach. Please make sure you stay for number 10 because it is pretty freaking juicy. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, you want to learn everything there is to know about living in New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas, you've come to the right place. My name is Matt Ekoff. I'm a local real estate expert. I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Rachel Ekoff, and we're here to share everything from the best neighborhoods to the hottest spots around town. Listen, I get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people just like you wanting to move to the beach. So whether that be in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to help you move here. Please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you get all notifications and updates about everything New Smyrna Beach and its surrounding areas have to offer. All right, guys, today we're taking a sensitive subject and we're talking about the things that we hate about living in New Smyrna Beach.
There's so many things that we can talk about, how much we love New Smyrna Beach.
Yes.
It's so much easier to say all the things that we like about living here and the things that we enjoy doing, and it's a little bit harder to talk about the things that we don't like. But there are some things that we don't like.
This is a real estate channel, and we're hoping that you guys are interested in buying in New Smyrna Beach, and it's our job to inform people that are moving to New Smyrna Beach what are not only the great things, but what are some of the bad things. I tell my clients all the time, I want to deliver good news, but my job is also to deliver bad news sometimes. And so I don't want to. So this video is going to talk about the 10 things that we hate about living in New Smyrna Beach. And I'm going to start off with number 1. This is not so much for us, but I do hear this complaint a lot, is the parking situation. We have Flagler Avenue right behind me and on my left side, and we have the parking situation right out here. We are a Tuesday early afternoon and it is packed here, and everybody out here is paying $30 a pop to stay in this spot. If you want public parking, which is free, you're probably a half mile from here down at the other end of Flagler Avenue and North and South Peninsula, and you're walking down with your stuff. And even some of those spaces are only 4-hour parking, so you got to come and move your car and things like that. Parking is difficult. Now, we live beachside and we live in North Beach. We've had people during spring break and during some of the summer months and busier holidays like 4th of July weekend and Labor Day weekend actually stop and ask us if they could pay to stay in our driveway, because we have a pretty oversized driveway that's probably for 4 or 5 cars. So parking in New Smyrna is really, really crappy, especially if you live beachside south on the island or if you live anywhere on the mainland. It is really, really difficult. For us, not so much, because we have e-bikes and a golf cart and we can get to a lot of places with that. And in fact, we take those things most of the time rather than our cars, because we can squeeze in spots and things like that. Plus, I know the right people living in New Smyrna Beach, so there's some parking lots that I can park in that maybe people that aren't real estate agents can't park in and might be towed, but parking is a disaster here in New Smyrna.
I would say that parking is very limited. So if you're coming out to the beach and you're not driving onto the beach, like if you're not doing that, which you have to be early during any kind of beach going season. So like summertime and events, spring break, all those kind of things, you have to be in line to get on the beach early. So that's number 1. But as far as if you're not driving out to the beach and you're just parking somewhere on the island,
these people either don't live in New Smyrna Beach or they don't come to the beach that often. And I'll tell you why. Because if you move to New Smyrna Beach, you can register your vehicle and you can park in any of these parking spaces for free, as well as you can get on the beach for free. It's $40 to get on the beach if you're not a resident or if you don't have your license registered. It's $40, $30 to park out here. But if you live in New Smyrna Beach, you can register. There's online. There's a place online that you can do it.
It's all of Volusia
For
County,
Volusia County residents, you can register online and you can park in any of these spaces for free, any of the paid spaces in New Smyrna Beach for free, as well as get on.
There is a parking lot that they just built recently that is privately owned parking lot.
On South Atlantic Avenue.
And you do have to pay for that one.
But most of the things that are county owned, most places that are county owned, and as well as get on the beach, doesn't cost you anything if you're a Volusia County resident.
So I don't hate that, but parking in New Smyrna Beach is hard, and I would say that is one of the things that I hate. And that goes for not just parking for the beach, but if you're going shopping, if you're going to just like go to a restaurant or something, that is hard.
And I'll tell you, they are strict with towing and they're strict with giving tickets out. They will tow you 100% and they will give you a ticket if you're not in the right area. So one of the top 10 things that we hate about living in New Smyrna Beach. Okay, so let's talk about numerous hurricanes and hurricane season and weather. So during this time of the year, we are in late August. I'm sitting in the shade. It is in the AM still, and I am sweating. Humidity is high. when hurricane season comes around. It's not as high during the early part of the year, but during hurricane season it is. And let's just talk about hurricanes. I mean, hurricanes is a threat. We've done Hurricane Milton video, a before Hurricane Milton video. We didn't do after Hurricane Milton because we had too much damage at our own home. Not damage at our home, but of our tree. We have a pretty big
cleanup,
tree.
just debris cleanup,
And helping neighbors clean up and things like that. But hurricanes it's a big deal. I mean, we live on the east coast of Florida, so
I hate the aftermath of hurricane cleanup because most of the time, like you said, when we get hit with hurricanes, yes, they're annoying. Yes, it's the prep work that goes into the beforehand, but it's the cleanup after I think that I hate the most because it's several days of just trash bags, bagging, leaves, debris, things that have flown around across the island, like literal trash that's blown into your yard, and getting all of that into a pile correctly for the city to come and get it. Like, it's a lot of work after a hurricane, but it's less work when you do the prep beforehand.
Well, I was going to respectfully disagree that's not my least favorite part. My least favorite part is the prep and getting things ready for it. But really my least favorite part, losing power. That's my least favorite. Because I don't mind doing work. I don't mind going out and helping neighbors out. I don't mind doing cleanup work. I don't mind getting out and sweating. In fact, you need to do something when there's a hurricane because everywhere is closed. You're not going out shopping. They've never, that I know, have done a mandatory evacuation in New Smyrna Beach beachside. They've done some recommended evacuations. They'll put up the Drawbridge and they won't let people come in if you don't live here, but they haven't done any mandatory. But I don't mind the work, but I cannot stand losing power for multiple days. You worry about the stuff in the refrigerator. You don't have the power that you need, of course, unless you get a whole home generator, and that is really a must here. But those things can be costly. So that is, on number 2 on hurricanes, we got to add the cost to prep, where you're going to keep all the wood and the boards to, the particle board or whatever, where you're going to store that stuff, where you're going to store window units if you have a small generator, what you're going to spend on a regular size generator if you're going to do a whole home generator. So hurricanes has to be an easy number 2 for me. And these are not in any particular order. I want to say these are not in any particular order because I have some real pet peeves on some things that I don't like about New Smyrna. And you're going to hear my voice fluctuate and change when I talk about some of those things.
I would say that hurricane, it's not necessarily something that I hate about New Smyrna Beach in particular because that's Florida wide. I mean, we all in Florida can experience bad storms, but I would say.
But listen, if they're moving to New Smyrna Beach, if they're coming in, if they're my clients that just closed that came in from Salt Lake City, or my clients that I'm working with that are from New Jersey, or my clients that I'm working with in Colorado City, they don't know. If you're moving to New Smyrna Beach, hurricanes is a thing. Whether it comes from East Coast or the West Coast, it is a thing that happens here, and it has to be one of the things that we don't.
Storm like that, it's scary.
Yeah, it can be scary. It's not scary once you go through it. I've lived here my whole life, and it's not. I stayed for every single one of them, and it's not nearly as scary as what you think it is, and you have plenty of prep time. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about number 3. Okay, number 3, tourists and crowds. It can be for festivals, it can be for 4th of July, it can be for Labor Day, it can be for spring break, it can be for Daytona 500, it can be for Bike Week, it can be for Biketoberfest, it can be for the Seafood Festival, it can be for the Wine Walk. We could go on and on and on and on. I'll tell you a little funny thing. My daughter, when she was young, she used to call tortoises. Referred to it a lot as tortoise. And she's like, oh, you think that's a tortoise? And I'm like, what do you, baby? I finally thought, like, what are you talking about, a tortoise? And she's like, that's what they're called. I'm like, no, they're called tourists. And she's like, oh, I thought they were called tortoise. And I'm like, no. She's like, oh, because they're slow and confused. I'm like, well, actually, that's even better than tourists. But the crowds can get big here, and it can be obnoxious. And I'll tell you, tourists are great. They help our economy. If you're a tourist and you decide that you want to live here, that's how we get a lot of people that move into New Smyrna Beach, is because they come here and they visit and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a great place. We want to become residents. That's fantastic. But tourists don't take care of the city as good as residents do, and especially teenagers during spring break and stuff like that. They're throwing trash out the window, and that kind of bothers me because this is where I live and this is where my daughter goes to school and where we take walks, and so the crowds can be overwhelming sometimes. And I'll say that when some of the crowds come in, we stay in. We do different things. Like, we won't take North Peninsula or South Peninsula out. We'll take Pine. We won't go to necessarily the jetties or the inlet. We'll go to the State Beach down in Bethune. We'll go to areas that people that are from out of town don't know about. So we kind of do some of the local stuff. What were you going to say to add on?
As far as like tourism and stuff, like, we need tourism. And that moving into New Smyrna Beach or any beachside place is going to have tourism. That's just part of the beach lifestyle. The tourism itself doesn't bother me. It's more of what you're talking about with the crowds. So when it's a big event, when it's a lot of people at one time, I think that's when it just becomes inconvenient on certain
Inconvenient
roads.
is the word. For example, when I was picking up our daughter to go to her friend's house, actually she had a friend stay over. Leela stayed over. Leela and Ava are going back to Leela's house.
Yeah.
Well, I asked them what they want for lunch. Let's pick up some lunch, and they're like, let's get Publix subs. This is a Saturday.
Yeah.
We go to Publix, and there's 20 people in line. That is inconvenient. I know that 19 of those people don't live there. Live here. So that does get frustrating sometimes. But you got to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, and it's so when you are inconvenienced with, like say there's a big festival and they've blocked off a road and there's just a ton of people. Quick shout out, we are at Ocean Breeze.
Yeah, Ocean Breeze Tiki. This place is awesome. As you can see, the
so
ocean
nice.
is right behind us. This place burned down a couple years ago.
I know.
I don't know if they ever figured out. Yeah, you're taking Ava to school. I was out of town, and yeah, the place caught on fire. It was on the news.
Sad.
But it's an awesome place. Really good food, really good drinks, really good seafood. Again, you can't beat the view, obviously. You're right on the ocean. So super convenient. But we're not talking about great things. We're talking about bad things. Why we hate New Smyrna Beach. We're talking about why we hate New Smyrna.
Sometimes things can just be inconvenient with the amount of crowds that come in during a festival or a parade or this or that, like any kind of high tourist season. So like you were saying, spring break, bike week, things
like you
that.
said, though, we need the tourism. Florida's known as a tourism state. So
you have to expect when you move here, you're going
listen,
to
we're grasping for straws here, okay? I love New Smyrna. I don't want to live
Hard.
anywhere else, but we're grasping for straws. But we're trying to give you the inside scoop on what we hate about New Smyrna. And so, although it's difficult, this is one of the things that we hate: the inconvenience and the crowd.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about number 4. Let's talk about the cost of living, insurance costs, flood insurance, just eating in a restaurant like this. Like this, maybe if you're in a town, an outskirt town of Dallas, you're probably not spending $19 on a salad. You're probably spending $11 on a salad. This is what comes with a tourist town. The bigger tourism there is, the more it's going to cost. You go to California, it's going to be through the roof. You go to Miami, it's going to be through the roof. And so the cost of living, that's not just like daily eating out of restaurants and stuff like that, because there's deals and things like that you can work out by being a local with some of the restaurants, and even a little secret card that you can get. Reach out to me if you want to know about that secret card, because you can even get discounts on ice cream shops, discounts at the surf shops, things like that. But so it's not just this, it's the whole cost of living. It's the extra insurance that it costs, especially if you live on the island. It's flood insurance if you don't live in the right flood zone. Flood zone X and X500 is not required, which is great, but cost of living can be expensive. And New Smyrna, compared to some other places, what you were mentioning last night, New Smyrna Beachside, an $800,000 home is probably only going to get you a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, probably 1,200 square foot house that's not brand new, with probably a smaller lot for $800,000. Where you could go to DeLand for $800,000, 45 minutes away, you could buy a 4,000 square foot home on an acre. So, cost of living is going to be a little bit more.
It is going to be a lot more, in my opinion. And as far as cost of living goes, like you said, it's more to live on beachside, which I think is expected. I think your audience knows that for sure. But you are going to get a lot more bang for your buck, bigger house, just literally across the bridge. If you go into Venetian Bay or any of those other neighborhoods, those master plan communities, you're getting a much larger.
All right, so that's a perfect plug. I'm looking for a house right now. We're probably going to put a contract in the next day or two for my friend Susan that I play tennis with for her daughter. It's in Copper Creek, which is a gated HOA community, super nice, brand new community. This was the model home. It's 2,900 square foot. Beautiful floors, high ceilings. It was a model home, so it comes with a lot of the model home stuff. Brand new build. It is a Ryan's home, which makes great homes, and we're probably going to go under contract for around $575,000, $565,000. HOAs are going to be $100 a month, and you're still only 15 minutes from the beach. So it's not like, if that house was beachside, if that house was right down in Central Beach or North Beach, it'd be $1.5 million or more than that. So this is just a matter of your location. We have a smaller home, a little bit less than 1,500 square foot, but it's only me, Rachel, and my daughter, and we don't need a big place. We would prefer paying a little bit more to be closer, walking distance and bike ride to the beach and to Flagler Avenue. Some people don't prefer that, So there's some great deals that you can get. In fact, you can get some in the Palms, Phase 3, which we've been in before. Those are Ryan's home. You can get a 2-story home for $699,000 on a 65-foot frontage lot.
Huge homes. It's preference, but that is something that if you are looking for something similar to what you're living in now, or you're looking to, like if you have a larger family and you need specific space, beachside might not be economical for you.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I don't like. But find me something that I also hate.
Yeah.
Because it's getting hard.
And the longer you wait, though, the more it's going to expensive. The more expensive it's going to get. That's the thing. We're in August of 2025. Appreciation rate here is through the roof. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's the best in North Beach of anywhere else. Central Beach is, I would say, a close number 2, and then far beachside south of the mainland. Appreciation rates are really high here, so it's going to continue to go up. So you can look at that as a negative if your plan is not to move here in 2 or 3 years, then it's a negative. But if you're moving here soon, then it's a positive because your appreciation rate is going to go up. So, I mean, last year, for example, this is a great stat. The year before last, when we had a full year's worth of data, 2023, the average home in North Beach was $1,080,000.
Okay.
$1,080,000 average home in North Beach. So basically 1.8 miles from Flagler Avenue to Menorca to the Dunes Park. Last year, it was $1,189,000. It increased by $109,000 average price per home in 1 year.
Over 1 year.
Average appreciation. That's pretty crazy. So again, if you're looking in 2 or 3 years, then that could be a negative for you. But I'm an eternal optimist. If you live here or looking to move here soon, you know that's a protected investment. All right, let's move on. Number 5.
Oh no.
This is not going to really affect you if you live on the mainland unless you're coming over to the beach. The Drawbridge.
I laugh because it's so funny. Because we have people that'll come over from the mainland to our house and they're like, what is taking so long? If I'm leaving our house to go over there or vice versa, it's always that same phone call. I'm stuck at the bridge. I'm stuck at the bridge. It's a joke. Sometimes I like to just tell them out that I'm stuck at the bridge when I'm running late.
If you live in North Beach, you live in Central Beach, there's 2 ways in and out of New Smyrna beachside. And it's the South Causeway Bridge, which is large, not as congested as the North Causeway Bridge, which is a drawbridge. And you never know when you're going to get caught. So if I'm going to Canal or I'm going to my office, my brokerage is on Canal, I have to leave 15 minutes early. Even though it's a 2-minute drive to get over there, I have to leave 15 minutes because I never know when I hit the bridge. I hit the bridge yesterday coming. And if you have the bad luck of the draw and you hit it on the way there and you hit it on the way back, it can be pretty annoying. Again, we're grasping for straws here. I mean, if a drawbridge that takes 4 minutes to go up and down is the negative thing about living in New Smyrna. But nevertheless,
it does happen. And
it does happen.
You will, if you live here, you're going to get caught at the drawbridge. It's the thing that happens. You're going to get
and there is limited access to get to beachside if you live in mainland. I mean, you only have those 2 options. That's it. Unless you have a boat or unless you're a freaking awesome swimmer, and I don't think you could do that. I don't know of anybody that's done that. The only way you can get in is the South Causeway Bridge and the North Causeway Bridge. And when one of them is congested, the South Causeway Bridge, and then the North Causeway Bridge, the drawbridge
you know
goes
what?
up.
That's really interesting that you bring that up because yes, you're talking about the drawbridge in particular, but one time there was an accident because there's only those 2 bridges that come into New Smyrna Beach.
Oh, okay, I know what you're
There was
talking
an
about now.
accident that was on the South Causeway Bridge and they had to shut the entire bridge down. So that only leaves everybody on and off the island going through the Pink Bridge, which is the North Causeway drawbridge. And it was a nightmare. We were stuck in traffic trying to pick up our child from school.
An hour and 20 minutes to go 2.8 miles.
Because one bridge was down.
We were on Canal. We could only go over the Drawbridge Bridge, North Causeway Bridge, and we had to go around to her school. And the whole island was other parents that were mainland were calling us and can you pick our kid up too? It was crazy. That's a once in a whole thing. And again, we're grasping for straws here.
Right, but I'm just saying
like one time we were inconvenienced an hour and a half when people that live in big cities are inconvenienced every single day. I'm sorry for you guys. Move to New Smyrna Beach. Call me. Move here. Work remotely.
Come eat at Ocean Breeze.
Let's talk about number 6. This one affects people different in different ways. Bugs, mosquitoes, and No-See-Ums are bad. No-See-Um is a small bug that you can't see it. That's why they call it No-See-Um because you can't see them. They bite, and there's certain times of the season, the more humid it is, the more they're out. Mosquitoes is a thing here, surprisingly enough, in Florida. Wildlife that you're randomly going to come across. I mean, we saw those 2 snakes at one time going to
the state beach.
Going to the state beach, and these things were massive. There's surprisingly enough, there are sharks out here, and so random wildlife.
In the ocean?
There's sharks in the ocean. I don't know if you know that or not. That's something different. But,
that's different.
And I'm just going to say this little story because I know this ticked you off a lot more than it did me.
Oh.
We had stopped to watch the snakes, and some people on some bikes were coming up behind, and we yelled at them to stop because these things, I mean,
they were as big as Matt.
They were
as
gargantuan, and they're going to show them on camera. They're huge, and these bikers come up and we're like, hey, hold on a second. And they're like, oh, it's okay, we're from California. I'm like, okay, you're from California. Like, if you're from California, I'm not trying to be like drawn on you.
It was just
like
this man that was from California in
on
particular.
a bike with a rattlesnake that's as big as a manatee.
I just wanted him to go behind
you're from California, so rattlesnakes don't bite in California? I don't know. Or they're from California, so that snake's like, oh wait, I'm not going to attack him.
I'm not going to bite that one guy. It was odd. I would say, as far as if you're not used to wildlife around, like if you live in a big city or you live somewhere where there's not wild animals, this is a change.
Okay, let's talk about number 7. You're going to be able to talk about this more than I am, but we do have limited shopping availability here in New Smyrna Beach. Now, we do have a Publix on beachside, and there's a Publix on the mainland as well, but we really don't have, there's a Walmart that's by Venetian Bay on the west side of 95. But if you want a Target, you want a TJ Maxx, you want a Ross, you want a Costco, you have to go to Port Orange or Daytona Beach. So, that's going to be a 30 to 40 minute drive to get over there and get that kind of stuff. So
the shopping, you can look at it as a negative. If you like to be close to like convenience of shopping, if you're that kind of person and you need to be like by a TJ Maxx and close to just stuff to go do, this is going to be a hard change for you because like you said, there is limited things in New Smyrna Beach that are like bigger stores. Because like you said, we have a Walmart, we have a Home Depot, we have a Publix, kind of what we got.
That's it.
Yeah, other than that, you have to go, like you said, 30 minutes out. You're going to Daytona, Port Orange, or you're going towards
And if
Zillion.
you have to go to Home Depot or you have to go to Walmart on a Saturday or Sunday,
It can be hard.
then even though it's only 6 miles away from here and just on the other side of 95,
So you got to factor in that beach traffic.
yeah, beach traffic. You're going to spend 20 minutes to get there, and then you're probably going to spend 30 to 35 minutes to get back. I know that you typically on Sundays make that as your shopping day, and you'll go to Costco, and then you'll go to Walmart, and then you'll go to Publix, and then you go to an Aldi, because you get our different fruits and fish and different things like that. And it's pretty much a full day event. So available shopping, that's going to be a negative thing.
We do have like boutique shopping. We've got stores.
Oh,
and
the
things
boutique
that you can
shopping is
go
unbelievable.
to, but it's not your big box chain stuff that you're used to maybe being around. If you want that, then maybe beachside isn't for you.
Big
but
box,
it can be hard sometimes.
Big box, and this isn't really shopping,
Fast food.
Fast food. But hospitals, though. Look,
yeah,
we have a
everyone.
small hospital here, but I mean, if you want a really big hospital, you got to go to Halifax all the way to Daytona Beach. Again, that's not shopping, but talking about big box stuff. Okay, well, let's move on to number 8. This one, to me, it sucks, but it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's wait times at restaurants. We have a ton of restaurants here. You know, some of our favorite ones. I mean, this place, I have a list of my top 20 places in order, but you on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, it's going to be, yeah, you're going to plan to wait. I don't care if you live here or not, unless you really, really know somebody that's a manager or higher up in the restaurant. You're not getting seated fast. You are going to wait. You get people coming in town, just tourists are taking advantage, and there's so many good places to eat in New Smyrna Beach. And if you don't have it, if it's not good and if it's not like really popping, it ain't going to make it because there's just way too many. I mean, I have a list of 25 places and I show it to locals all the time and they're like, oh, well, you missed this, you missed this, you missed this. I'm like, I'm trying to limit it to 25. We're a small city with only 45,000 residents, but 40 to 45,000 residents. But we have a ton of great places to eat. But the wait times at restaurants can be really long.
They can be a lot. So expect to grab a drink and hang out at the bar for a little while. I mean, you're going to be 30 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
Especially weekends.
All right, so let's talk about number 9. And this is one that you're going to deal with in different areas, and I want you to refer to another video, is flooding. I want you to refer to another video. I don't talk about like my other video. Well, sometimes I talk about it, but I don't really say, hey, go watch this. If flooding is an issue for you, go watch my flooding video. It's really, really specific on where you want to live and where you don't want to live. If you're in flood zone X or you're in X500, you're probably in really, really good shape. You have a 0.2 or 0.3% chance of flooding over the next 300 years. It's like really, really small. And the only difference between X and X500 is how much shade you have in the yard. So we're X500 because we have a big banyan tree that offers a lot of shade to it. But if that banyan tree wasn't there and we just had palms in the same location, we would be X. So that's really the only two differences. And X and X500 do not require flood insurance. There are some bad spots. If you're in the north of 44, you're in some bad shape. And we've done some cleanup at some people that we're very close to at their houses, and flooding is an issue. And I will say some of the worst flooding is on the mainland. Actually, the worst flooding is on the mainland. It's not beachside. And I'll tell you, this is nothing against, I sell new construction. And I have some great relationships with some custom builders, not so much with big box builders, but with some custom builders. I will say, though, the more developments that get built in, the more flooding there is on mainland. Why the mainland is getting flooded. When you bring in something like Coastal Woods or Venetian Bay, huge master plan communities that are taking dirt from other places and building up, then it does cause extra flooding to the surrounding areas. And so if you're beachside, you're 32169, which is North Beach, Central Beach, and Beachside South, your flooding risk is very, very small. But
there is some. There's actually been people who have, like on Peninsula, that raised their homes after one of the larger hurricanes where that water just kind of sat on us. There's not a ton of like really bad flooding, but there's some streets on beachside that are a little bit lower than others.
There's
The
a part of
majority
Lincoln
those homes are
between
built up taller.
North Peninsula and Pine that slopes down, and those houses during Ian were underwater 2 feet. So look, let's call it what it is. Flooding can be an issue, and it doesn't have to be during a hurricane. It can be just a bad storm where we just get a downpour all day. One single day, the water doesn't have anywhere to go.
But if you want to know where to not purchase a home as far as flooding goes, that's your guy.
I will tell you.
And he will be honest with you, and he'll not show you something based on that.
I did. I got a client that wasn't that long ago that said he called me because of my flooding video, and he loved the transparency about me talking about flooding. And he had some places, he had 5 places he wanted to look at, and I had to eliminate 2 of the 5. I'm like, I'm not going to show you places here because let me show you pictures why. I'll drive by those areas and take pictures and then show them to future clients. I want you to get into a place and feel safe and be satisfied all the time when you're there. All right, let's come down to number 10. This one's fun. This was really fun. And in fact, I have a personal story. It's fun to hate. Small town gossip. Oh, everybody knows everybody.
That's true.
Everybody knows everybody.
I don't know if I hate it, but you could hate it.
You could hate it.
You could hate it.
You could hear something bad. And I'm going to tell a personal story on this. This wasn't from somebody that was watching my videos. They were actually I do direct mail as well once a month to about 2,000, 3,000 homes and talk about just market stats and things like that. Updates, houses around that are sold. I do a ton of marketing. I love marketing. So I'm marketing background. This is great. So called me from one of my direct mail things. Lives in Connecticut. I'm not going to say any names. He lives in Connecticut. Him and his wife live in Connecticut. This is the beach house they've owned since 1997, and he was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's. He calls me, we talked on the phone. He's like, I think I have to sell my house for 2 reasons, Parkinson's being one of them. I'll talk to you about the other one when I meet you face to face and get to know you a little bit more. We go to Flagler Tavern, we have lunch, we get to know each other, we connect pretty quickly. It's like, well, I have Parkinson's that I have to pay for, but also my wife has been coming down here working remotely, and she's been having affairs, and I just found out about it, and holy smokes. So now you got Parkinson's and you find out your wife is having affairs. Anyway, I digress. Horrible situation. I get the listing. I put it up on the market. I put my sign out. 2 days later, I go to play tennis. My friend Carl comes up, hey, I saw you got that listing on, I'm not going to name the street. I said, yeah, I did a couple days ago. He's like, you know, that lady, when she comes in town, she hooks up with my buddy. Holy smokes. I am like, yeah, well, that lady is married. And I know it's a horrible story. This is a horrible video, right? We're supposed to talk about the things that we hate about New Smyrna Beach. And that is something that I absolutely hate for that client of mine. I hate that my friend had a friend and he said his friend had no idea. I told him, I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, there's no way Steve would have known because there's no way he would have done that otherwise. But that is a small town gossip. You're not going to get away with things here. If you are an adulterer, and look, I'm not judging. If you're an adulterer, this may be not the place to be the adulterer at, okay? Maybe go to Daytona Beach. That's horrible to say. I can't. No, I'm not condoning it. I'm not approving it. But
I do not approve of this message.
Small town gossip. Verify what you hear. And that's a fun top thing to end on. It's not top at all.
Awful. That is an awful
It is an awful thing.
Anyway, as awful as that is, it can be true. People, we all know each other. We all see each other when we're out. There is not a single day that goes by that Matt and I are not walking the beach, walking on Flagler, that we do not see somebody that we know.
Of course.
I mean, that is every single time we're out. We always pass by, and it's different people all the time, but you're always going to see somebody. So don't think you're going to walk out with a real bad haircut or something and somebody's not going to see you that day.
Well, I never have to worry about that. So,
that's true, you don't. But it is a small town. Everybody who lives here kind of knows each other, or we know somebody who knows you.
Yep, there's always a little bit of gossip. So listen, if you hear anything negative about me, don't listen to it. Only listen to the positive because that's only the true stuff. Nevertheless, listen, we wanted to go over this thing. We went a little bit longer than I expected, but I wanted to talk through some of this stuff. So hopefully this helps. Listen, we're grasping at straws here. I mean, some of the things we're really grasping for straws.
It's hard to hate on the beach. It really is.
We're never going to move. This is where we live. This is our hometown, and I want it to be your hometown too. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. We got to talk about the 10 things that we hate about living in New Smyrna Beach. Listen, we're grasping for straws on a lot of this stuff, okay? This place is awesome. As you can see around me, I mean, who doesn't want to live at the beach all the time? And you can't. Just reach out to me. But listen, today we talked about crowds. We talked about parking situation. We talked about the bridges, unfortunately, that we have here sometimes. We talked about hurricanes and insurance costs, cost of living, stuff like that. But again, it's really, really minor compared to all the great things that you have by living in New Smyrna Beach. Listen, I get phone calls, emails, text messages, Zoom invites every day from people like you. And I'm not just saying that. I really, really do. I talk to people from all over the country all the time. So whether you want to move in 2 days, 20 days, or 200 days, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to help you move to the beach. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe so you get all the updates and notifications about New Smyrna Beach and surrounding areas. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.